if I should say any email alert, I had to go off. Because I was expecting a response. I was always refreshing my email. Not until, I think, January 3rd or 4th thereabouts, then I saw the email. I could remember I was outside. I saw congratulations and I saw the offer. I was rolling on the floor. Okay, because I just want to be transparent, right? The offer that came in was $8,000 per month. From
Good evening, Mr. Akorede.
good evening, Miss
Omotolani. Till the end of this series, I might be using sir a lot. So get used to it.
I'm just normal.
Well, everybody says they are normal until you check them out and you see the works they've done and see that there's normalcy, but there's greatness in it. But thank you for being here. Thank you for sitting on our seats. And thank you for always, the way you respond, it makes me feel like, even if you are up there, right, you still give that, you give arm's length to people that are coming up, so to say, right? So thank you for always replying promptly. I just want to say,
Thank you so much.
well done.
Let's be here.
Well done. How was the journey so far?
The journey has been rough, but I thank God. Do you want me to tell you like how it all started?
Feel free.
Okay, so it started all in 2019. I could remember it was on a Friday, and I think it was around this time in the evening.
Oh wow,
Past 5.
the travel.
Yeah. It was around 5, and then I was doing digital marketing, and I was also doing influencer marketing because then I was part of the Twitter Banga Boys. Yeah. So, and gigs were not coming as should. You could go 1 month without gigs, 3 months, and the pay. Sometimes you could go broke. I was like, that day, I was just reflecting. Because sometimes I talk to myself. Like, I would just sit down.
You try to really talk to yourself.
Yeah, so I was just like, nah, this is not what I want to do in my life. Because I have big dreams, I want to live the best life, travel the world. On top 50 kids.
Hey, you go deflect.
So I was like, and I've heard about tech. And I was like, okay, what can I do in tech? And before that, I've always have flair for design. Even before I became a product designer and started doing design, I've always been doing digital design using Canva when I was a digital marketer. Because prior to that, I was also working as a social media manager for Ajebo, the comedian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was a social media manager for like 3 years. Like all the shows he did from 2017, 18, 19. I was the one that handled all the social media publicity. Yeah. So that was what I was also doing with digital marketing. We did influencers at that time. So I went online and I started looking for information. And one thing about me is I don't like bugging people. And there's always this at the back of my mind, Google is your friend. All the information you want, you can get it at Google. So I went to Google, search, and I saw that there's one part of tech that has anything to do with design. And it's product design, UI, UX. I figured it out. And that day, because of the zeal, the drive, because I told myself that, okay, you see this thing, is a do or die affair. Is that yes or yes? There's no, no, it's not an option. Then I was so lucky, I saw a 2-hour masterclass on UI UX on Udemy. It was free. And I signed up and, shout out to that tutor. Like, it was a good foundation for a start. And I made sure I finished up that course that day. And one of the things the tutor, shared was make sure you replicate designs and just practice over and over. Yeah. Get your hands busy. And I was able to do that. Then after that, it was just up from there. And the next day was 2020, right? And lockdown.
COVID came.
To me, I know because it's enough from doing lockdown, it was a sad moment for a lot of people, some lost their loved ones. And, the whole world was just on lockdown. But for me, it was a blessing.
Mm.
Yeah. You know, when, I don't know how they say that word, when something you make, when life gives you lemon.
Make lemonade out of it. But you get some kind of way. Hey, like, we kissing.
Yeah, so, you know that lockdown? I was locked down.
True.
Yeah, I was. I could remember I was on, so while I was living with my brother, and where we're living then, we had one sofa, and we have a table, and I had one student bed, because I was still schooling in Lagos at that time. So I'll put my student bed on the ground, and I was using one HP, yeah. And I was there for 3 weeks. The only thing I was doing was go to the toilets, probably take a shower, or take a poo and go to the kitchen. That was the only thing. That was where I was sleeping. When I wake up in the morning, I wake like with my laptop, and you very dead and I see like for 3 weeks, and I learned a lot. You know, there were a lot of errors, but like it really gave me that, like I did a lot of work. Like I can remember I want to what I put. Then after that, you know, another thing that now helped me was any work that I do, I was always sharing on social media, because I had data marketing experience, and I know how to market myself, I know how to talk about myself, and I have like friends that could also support to share. So then, like, I'll present my work in the little way that I know how to, and it always goes viral on Twitter. Like, it wasn't even on my current Twitter account. I was using one before it got suspended at that time, and it always goes viral. So, and I always make sure that I'm being strategic to what I do, because the way I operate like a business. And, you know, you can't see Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you apply the same strategies. No. So then, you know, my tweet always go viral, and I always get people say, oh, I like your work, and some little prospects, but it wasn't converting. Not until I did one concept for, I think Davido at that time, just a rapper level up there. And, you know, that was when I got my first, you know, media client. And what's the client's, it like the job the client who bought was not even to only design the product as at that time. It was to oversee the end-to-end people in engineering. And like I said, I had like 40% knowledge product design. But because I've always I had, you know, business, I've done business in the past. Like, I think we'll get back to that. Yeah. So, and I was prepared for the future, because then I had my company registered and everything. So, and I had a friend too who was who is currently the back end. I called him up, and, you know, we figured it out. That was my first, and it was huge. I could remember it. That was in 2020. I think we sealed the deal 2020 in November. And this was, I think, 4 million at that time. I was like, wow. So money did this, needed this. And, you know, it wasn't only design work. Like, but to me, like, I learned a lot. I won't lie, like, whenever I remember that project, I didn't do the best of the best work. I was still learning, but this was a learning curve for me. Like, I made mistake, I learned, and it's one of the things that shaped my journey to this moment. And, you know, fast forward 2021, you know, things was going, you know, struggling to get jobs, things was going through, and 2022, God just say, okay, this boy, I don't know, promise. And but they also provide car. Is history from there.
Let me take you back a bit. I know you studied accounting.
Yes, I studied accounting and finance.
Okay, accounting and finance. The finance is important.
I studied accounting in National Open University, but I didn't finish. Then I went to study finance at University in Lagos.
So how would you move as an accountant or as a finance person to being a techie, like a full-time techie? What was the transition for like?
Okay, so the course I actually studied, actually is helping me a lot as a product designer. And that's why if you check my website or my tagline, a product designer with a degree in finance, like, to me, is a proud thing to
it is actually
to myself. And because the reason why I said is like, it's, I'm looking for the word to use. Okay, the reason why I said is something that I appreciate that, I studied it and it's making it's helping my career as a product designer is because the product I work or the company I work deals with is in the fintech industry, both in Web2 space and the Web2. And for example, one of the product I'm designing is about staking. So staking in the Web2 space is like investing. It's like you're locking up money and after some time you get interest on it. So there's compound interest, there's simple interest, it's about finance and accounting. So if you don't understand the concept of a simple interest, compound interest, and you get lost there, or you now have to read up on it. But for me, it's something I studied, it's something I was very familiar with. It was easy, right? So that's why for me, I think fintech, working in the fintech industry is just a thing that I think I would just want to do because so that my degree can always add value. So yeah.
Right. So you moved from being someone who studied accounting proper to finding yourself in the tech space.
Finance,
sorry. Someone who studied finance to finding yourself in the tech space. Now, what was your first gig for in the tech industry, right? What was the first gig and how much was it really?
My first gig, like I said, it was 4 million. Yeah. It all did, and I said, it didn't just happen. Out of the money, I had to pay some other developers to get the work done. That was my first gig.
Your story is not the usual. It's not the usual techie. Now, I'll give you a backstory. You would interview some people, you speak with some people, and they'll tell you, "Oh, my first gig is a 50,000 naira job."
No, that's my career path.
Oh, you did? So what was it like?
There's always ups and downs, right? So after the 4 million, then, I learned and all that to the learning curve. Then that was like a contract stuff. Then I was still looking for a job. After that. Then the other one that I got was, well, I think it was 250,000. You would think the money is a lot, but it's not because I designed end-to-end, I think 2 products.
For 250?
Yeah. And the reason why I took it that time was
that's decent.
I had a lot of there was financial. I was like, okay, come on, our boy is better than none. Just take it. And I regretted that because part of that money, I don't think maybe tomorrow, maybe the person will call me and will give.
Fail.
So at the end of the day, I was paid 125K.
Oh wow. Wait, for 3 projects.
Yeah.
So how do you move from somebody who earns 125 for 3 projects to somebody who's, to an extent, net worth is what it. I don't want to call you out. Because I know you just came back from a trip. I don't want to call you out outrightly. So how do you move from that to this?
So I could remember that my friend, I said we worked on that 4 million project together. So he's based in Abuja. And as at that time, I was in Abuja with him. And it was in Abuja that I actually set up that deal. And I was lamenting to him, guy, I've been applying, things are not becoming true. He was just saying, you just have to keep applying. And then he also was still working with a Nigerian company. But now it's the big boy. So, I know, I told you that when I started, I do talk to myself. So the same thing happened. I took a chill pill and I talked to myself. I was like, okay, I need to evaluate myself. And one thing about me is I tell myself the honest truth. I don't when people even start to praise me, I don't like it. I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong so that I can learn. But if you start to praise me too much, I'll be like, oh, you're just the one. Yeah. So I reviewed the work that I've done, my portfolio, my CV, and started to look, okay, what is the problem? Why am I always getting rejections? Why am I not converting, this application to jobs and all? Then also, I started looking at it from a business angle. Like I said, Pepsi and Coca-Cola, you can never see them apply the same strategy. So I started to look, okay, what can I do differently? Then I applied this strategy. And the strategy is this. I won't just go or go on LinkedIn, see a job posting and apply. And I will just stop it there. what I do then was, because, okay, then I wanted to transition into Web3. The first thing I did was also learn what Web3 was. I did the research and I also became a user. Started to use products in the Web3 space so that I can understand how they work. Then I now started going on Twitter, on LinkedIn, started to look for companies that have openings for product design. And I saw one and I did I look at a product and just started to look like, what is the issue? Just like provide solution, right? Then I did that, then I applied with it. With that thing I have done. So that actually got me a response. So to me, it was like, okay, this person didn't just apply. This person applied with a solution. Yeah. So they saw value in what I did. So that alone created bias. That, okay, I'll probably just want to talk to this person. And I got a reply in my mail. That reply alone was like, wow. Because it was a Web3 design studio in San Francisco in the US. And the next thing, we jump on the interview call. I can still remember, where I had the interview and, because what I did already, speaks for itself, my design process and everything. I was expecting a lot of drilling. Yeah. And another thing I didn't mention is the job title was for a senior designer. Yeah. And then I wasn't a senior. I wasn't up to that level. And I still got a reply and I got into the call and everything went well. Mm-hmm. I can remember what the hiring manager was saying then was just discussing about the complex culture. Like, when, I don't know if they've explained, like, an answer.
He did not interview you. He got in.
I said, I don't get this. Yeah. Like, I was expecting drilling, but I later sense that it's because of the work that I did. That's, just went that and, I got, in December, I was expecting, I think late December, Christmas, my mind was not settled. As other people were eating chicken, I was just...
This December that passed?
No. Oh, December of 2021. Mm-hmm. Stroke, January 2022. Mm-hmm. I was not, like, if I should say any email alert, I have to go. Because I was expecting a response. I was always refreshing my email. Not until, I think, January 3rd or 4th thereabouts, then I saw the email. I could remember I was outside. I saw congratulations and I saw the offer. I was rolling on the floor. Okay, because I just want to be transparent, right? The offer that came in was $8,000 per month. From managing myself with, because I didn't even 7 income. So that kind of amount, I wanted to go mad. I almost am mad. I was so happy. And so that's was now that moment I said, okay, God just opened my book. Okay. Then after that, another gig came in and it was just up from there. Like, I want to go back to that. That's like, that was when, the whole story changed and like, yeah.
Someone will hear you say you landed an 8K job or 8K gig, a job, outrightly, and they would say, I want to be like Akorede. And they are in a corner in Yanopaja. I'm not diesel.
I was in a corner at Sisono when it happened.
Right. So, and they're in a corner in Yanopaja, but they don't know what Akorede did to got to that. It didn't happen overnight. You applied with a solution for the company. So it's just to say that when we're getting rejections, it's just for us to look inward and say, what am I doing right? If 1,000 persons applying, what am I doing different from that 1,000 people?
To stand out.
So what would your advice to young techies be? I'm still younger, but
yeah,
just to say.
Okay, so after that, I'm still coming back to that question. So I was affected by the layoff, the banking crisis that happened in 2023. Yeah. When Silicon Valley Bank and Silvergate and some other, a lot of startup went back that land, a lot of companies lay off and all that. So I also looked inward again. I reviewed that strategy. I'm like, okay, how can I make it better? Then that strategy now bettered because I tried it for myself. It worked and it's still working. And I've, also shared it several times on Twitter space, to my friends, to a group of other designers. and it's working. So it's simple. It's simple, but a lot of work goes into it. And I remember that I shared with someone and I never heard like anything from the person again because of how, tedious. So this is the strategy. Like if you are anywhere, struggling to get a job and you want to get that job, like you're in a company and you want to get in. So the first thing first is you need to look inwards, right? Start to tell yourself, like, review what you have, your portfolio, the work you do. Is this thing good? If it's not good, tell yourself it's not good. Another thing is be open-minded. Don't be defensive when people are telling you, are giving you feedbacks, right? And the most important thing out of it all is you are a designer, fine. You are an individual, fine. Don't look at yourself as an individual. Look at yourself as a business. Picture yourself like a Coca-Cola, like a Pepsi. If we are both designers and we are looking for a job, are you going to apply the same strategy that I'm applying? Because you like I will keep repeating, like mentioning Pepsi and Coca-Cola because it's very relatable. Right? You never see Pepsi and Coca-Cola like applying. Okay, there was a time when Coca-Cola did Spot Your Name. And a lot of people were rushing to almost all the supermarkets looking for their name. Right? And they are buying it. Yeah, and Pepsi was losing the market share. What did Pepsi do in return? Long through bottle. And everybody, we like our wolf now. And people don't Coca-Cola and that is like you have to look, okay, you go on LinkedIn and you see that on a job application, there are 100 people. The question is you ask is, don't just apply. Out of these 100, there are going to be people that have their portfolio, their work, they are better than I am. And there are also going to be people that you are better than. But how can you be among that one top 10 or top 5? That is where this strategy comes in. So the first thing you do is, I'm supposed to chat you first. Okay, I'm just kidding. So the first thing you do is, you go to LinkedIn, Brian. This is my strategy. This is what is making me money.
Shit. My boss.
I don't find it hard sharing stuff that I know because this knowledge, we met it here. We're going to leave it at the end of the day. And my own goal is for everybody to win. That's my own goal. That's what makes me happy. So let's go back to the strategy. So the first thing you do is go on LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, if you use LinkedIn a lot, there is a corner for job alerts where you can set a job alert. And so on that job alert, you set job alerts based on your whole role. Like, for example, I'm going to use product design because that's my role. So what I do is, as product designers, at different companies, there are different titles for my kind of job. Some company, you see, they'll put the title as product designer, some put it as visual designer, some put it as UI designer, some UI UX, and others, right? So I will set job alerts based on those titles. Let's start with product design. Then I will set, do I want a remote work or on-site? Okay, remote, I'll put remote. The kind of pay that I'm looking at, I'm going to put it. The industry that I'm looking to work in, I'm going to put it. Then I'm just going to set it, and also the country. I'm also going to look at the country. And the country that you also want to probably, maybe you are lucky enough to get a location offer and you want to go. So the countries that I set for myself then was UK, US, Germany, Netherlands. Yeah, those are because those are and Portugal. Those are like countries that, okay, if I get a location, I would up on it. So after doing that, almost immediately you'll see LinkedIn. They will start to bombard you with job alerts in your email. So what I do is on my phone. So on my phone, my most valuable app on my phone is my notes. My notes is my most valuable app. So I open my notes, and on the notes, I start to list out those complaints that have opening. So the purpose of that job alert is to know complaints that currently have opening for your role. And you know that you are qualified for it because you've set that job alert to reflect that. Then you keep on every day, like as LinkedIn is sharing that updates, that email, you just keep listing the complaints. So now the next thing you now need to do is this. You need to go to that company's website And what you are looking for is the company that you're looking for how you can bring value into the company, right? Because you know they have opening for that job. Then you look at the product. As a product designer, I want to look at if the company has issues with UI, issues with bad UX. And if I'm able to, when I look, like I go to my notepad, the first company, I check it out. There's some company that they are so good that you rarely find issues, faults in their business, in their product, right? And if you even want to find faults, you need to be an in-house person to navigate and all that. But for those kind of company, if you notice that you don't see any tangible thing, that is not the company you're looking for. You go to the next. If you are updating that.
Churning out.
Exactly, you are churning out. So when you are lucky enough to now find that company, maybe on their website, you see like a screenshot of their app or their product, and you know that this thing needs improvement. Maybe UI-wise, you've struggled. Then the next thing you need to do is, you don't need to design the entire app. Just focus on one problem case. It could be just a UI screen, let's say their dashboard, they attached in their website, and you can improve that dashboard. Just focus on it. Go to Figma, bring in your design skill and improve it. Make sure the UI and the UX, is good. You actually did something. You prefer solution to it. Then another thing I now do is, because I know that presentation skill is also important. Mm-hmm. So I go on Medium. I have a Medium account. Then I make sure that I come up with a mini case study. That's what I call it. Like I write an overview of the company, the problem. Like I annotate it. So if anyone is watching this, you can go to my Medium and you'll see how I was able to do it. So I annotate problem, the solution, and I also I sold myself. Mm. Like there's a copy where the way I sold myself. If you're looking for a product designer on your team, and after I'm done with that presentation, the next thing I now do is to go back to that company, go back to that job listing. Then I now apply for that job. But before applying for that job, there's another thing that you need to also do. You need to make sure your CV is well optimized. Mm. Like it passes the ATS standard. You need to make sure your portfolio, they are great work in the portfolio. Like don't lie to yourself, make sure they are great work. Then another thing is have a good cover letter. Cover letter that sells, yourself, and when anybody reads it, the first few lines, they want to be locked in. Then, I go to the job listing, then I apply. I put in my name, my CV, a space for cover letter. So now, in most of the job listing sites, you always see a corner where they will say, if you have anything to share, or even in your cover letter, then that is where I now insert that link to that presentation. So now, that's the cheats. Yeah, that's exactly. You are applying normally, but you are adding something to say, the best stumble a logo. No one there. So now you, what I do is my cover letter, like I said, I make sure it's sellable, and I plug in there's a way I plug in my presentation, then I apply. Now, I've applied. I'm supposed to take a GPO, I don't stop there. I want to make sure that I've knocked all the doors, all the 7 doors. I don't look down well. Man, no, did that one. So the next thing I do is coding mailing also. Mm. Now I go on LinkedIn also. That same company I apply to. If it's a large company, like companies like Facebook, they are very large. You don't want to reach out to the CEO. You're not an empty basket. You are going to look at the people that are key decision makers and close to your department. So now people I want to reach out to are first the recruiters in that company. Recruiters that are recruiting for my role, design. I also want to look at head of design, senior product designers there, and I can also reach out to fellow product designers because one thing about those large companies referrals. Mm. Yeah. So now, if it's a small company, like startup, I can reach out to the CEO. I can reach out to CTO and people that I know that, okay, when I reach out to them, I think
is a response.
Yeah.
A reliable response.
Hiring manager and all that. Then, now, there is a tool I now use for my coding menu. It's called Apollo. Yeah. I install the plugin. on my Chrome and I scrape their work email using that tool. I don't know if you get it. Like I scrape. I don't just get your at gmail.com email. No, your work email, because I know every day, every minute you are checking your work. So you must see it. Then when I get that, then I go back to my Gmail. Then I have a well compelling email, my code email. Well, now the strategy for that also to writing code email. So now let's say, for example, the person I got their contact is a recruiter, right? After getting that email, I don't just, start to send them email. I'll take my time to go through their LinkedIn. If they have a website, maybe the person spoke at a conference or launched a book or something. Then that's what I'll use to enter that person. So in my email, it goes this way: dear, their first name. My name is Akorede, and I recently saw an opening at their company, so that they know that, okay,
I'm looking up.
Yeah. Then the next thing is, and it's a very short introduction, just 2 lines. I recently saw an opening at the company, and yeah. Then the next paragraph is, I went through your LinkedIn and I love, probably because spoke about, the recruiter does not have to do a designer. It spoke about, how AI is blah, blah, blah. And you just, based on what the person said, you understand, like, I love what you said at your conference, and, I use Lawyer and inspires me, blah, blah, blah. Rub there, wait, automatically, if you say that kind of email,
I go employ you.
see that, I'll be like, so you want to read. Do you understand? Then after that, and the person here goes, so okay. Then after that, you just start your own. Okay. I have over 5 blah 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 experience and blah 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 blah. Why looking at the job complaint posting, and I saw I was qualified, and to show the value, and because I love what so company are doing, blah blah, this is what I did. You attach that presentation link, that communication study. Then you also close that. So I look for corporate number now. You are
Corporate number.
So after that,
the response is almost sure.
It's almost sure. Then, like I said, in a company, probably you want to reach out to 5 people or keep decision makers. Then once you send that message, then at that point, you can achieve. And at that point, you're going to say, that saying that they say that God help those. Say, thank you, you've helped us.
But yeah,
like, and you don't code him in. So, sometimes this strategy is to be strategic, right? So sometimes you might not get a response, right? But there is no way you do this strategy
consistently
for like 5 complaints and you won't get a response, and it will lead somewhere. Because what this strategy would help you is, I said if you say 100 job or opening, now with this strategy, if you've moved from that 101 to like top 5, because the hiring manager will be biased. If you actually did a good work with the mini case study, they'll be biased towards talking to you. It has happened several times. So for me, when I came up with this strategy and I viewed it, I said, okay, this I was loved in. It's a lot of, like, what I just said now is a lot of work. If actually calm down.
it's a lot.
It's a lot of work. But
it's all
what a lot of people don't know is, looking for a job is a job on its own. When you are trying to look for a job, it's a full-time job on its own. So you have to put in that work if you really want to get it. It was at I think my second trial, I got a response. And the reason, the company is based in Amsterdam, Netherlands. And the reason why I didn't get it was they was looking for a designer that was based in Netherlands. If I were in Netherlands, and they were not ready to sponsor relocation. So when I got that, it was a no still, right? But it boosted. It was a good no. I was like, okay, we died.
We died for this.
Then I kept on fire. I wasn't just, another thing everyone needs to notice, don't look at quantity, quality. It is going to take you 1 week to get one particular, spend your time. Then it was on my 6th trial that I got a yes.
At your 6th trial?
And because I get myself a cap that, okay, if I do this thing 20, course supposed open, course supposed answer, just my sixth. Then boom. And after that, it now took me back to 2022 era. Then I got some, referrals from people that I worked and work on came in.
Work on took.
So with everything I've said, if you're actually serious, you want a difference in your life as a designer, and it doesn't just apply to designs, yes. In any field, this is applicable. Like I can tell you that before you get to your 10th complaint, you'll get a call. Because this strategy would give you that it takes to the interview room. And at the interview room, it's now left to you. Nobody's going to come and save you. So you'll be the one to now defend yourself and get him. So it's working. Like it has worked for a lot of people. Like I know a designer friend that texted me early this year, and he said, like he got a job. He closed, I think, a $5,000 job, and I'm also happy. Like using this strategy, and a couple of other people that I probably don't know because I've shared the same strategy on my Twitter spaces and all that. I know sometimes when I share it to people one-on-one, because sometimes I also do like one-on-one section to anybody that wants to talk to me, and I always feel, there's a way you sense that the way someone is actually feeling. I know that because for me, I know it's hard, but like if you want to make a difference in your life, you have to do the job. The work. You don't just apply on LinkedIn and you sit down and you swear, no, you won't. Because now you are competing with, another thing is you are competing with a lot of people. You are competing with people that have been laid off at the big tech companies. At Facebook laptops that have been laid off. That's what in Google, where we say they gap you back. So how can you want to gap them is by applying the strategy. And, also be prayerful because, God is the supreme being, yeah.
God help us. How do you deal with imposter syndrome?
It happens almost every time. Yeah. There are sometimes that you are given a task and I don't know. I'm very sure it happens to like a lot of designers. Maybe probably get a belief and they give you a task and be like, how do you think?
Done like this.
And after let's say few weeks after the whole thing, I'd be like, what is I do? I can't do. It's like it happens a lot. Like to me, I'll be like, so I think it's a normal thing, right? I think it's a normal thing, and to me, I don't think I have one particular strategy or approach it, but I just I take it as it comes. I think one of the things I always try to do is make sure I understand it. Like ask questions, why, just I just make sure I understand it. Yeah, and I always get it right.
So, what's your thoughts about mentorship?
Okay.
And how do people go around it?
So, mentorship, is a good thing. You need people to point you to the right direction. And, anybody that is looking for clarity, should always seek mentorship. And if you're a designer out there that, you have the experience, obviously you should be ready to give. Like, there are some people that they don't want to share their knowledge. They don't want to share, we're all different, right? Me, the way I see life is totally different. Like I said, I want everybody to win. If I have something that, I know would help you, I'll tell you. I don't, like this story that I said now, I can just keep it to myself and keep. But it doesn't mean I won't get to where I want to get. It doesn't mean if I use this strategy for myself, I won't get a job. Do you understand? So for me, even I celebrate other people's doing, do for myself. I'm that kind of person. And I think, mentorship, I'm always open to it. Mentorship is good.
Wow. Nobody mentored you. And getting to this stage, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
Yeah, so I think as I think that I started, there were no too many people, that I can even seek mentorship from, that I know them. And I think if I were to go back in time, I would have opted for mentorship. Yeah. And the reason why I would have opted for it is because when I was learning, I learned as a self-taught designer. Self-taught is different from maybe you go to an actual school or probably you took a detailed course, and in the detailed course, there are always syllabus or outline. You know that, okay, when you learn this, you go to the next one. So it was just go learn A today, P tomorrow, jama, you go jama, till you get the head. So if I had like mentorship, like, okay, do it this way. And some of the strategies and the way I figured my life out,
you would have done it faster.
Yeah, faster, easier. But I think I still love the way my journey played out because I learned a lot and it's shaping me to be, who I want to be. And another thing is because I've always been an independent, like I'm still an independent. Like that is how I lived my life and I've been living my life, being independent. I don't want to bug anyone. And yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love.
What's your escape route? Do you sleep? Do you eat? Do you travel? Do you what exactly do you do to get out of the creative space?
So for me, I love traveling now. So there's still a study to travel. Probably I'll see share. I love traveling out. But another thing I do is I just take some time off, go on social media. I love TikTok a lot. Yeah.
Oh, surprising.
Yeah. Like TikTok, like I'll just go on TikTok. And the surprising thing is the side of TikTok that I'm upstairs with is weird. All this trenches stick. All those salute. Like sometimes I'll just go to their live and I'll just be laughing like I used to while we time. Yeah, just watch all these, funny.
Who is your what's the word now? Who is your trench love? Like, what do you love the most in trench space?
There are lots of them.
That means you are really on their pages.
No, I'm always on their live, Yeah, it's fun to me. Sometimes when I'm walking, I'll be watching their live and I'll be walking. Like sometimes they just crazy stupid things that are funny, like Salo, there are a lot of them. DJ Chicken.
Say chicken.
No, the chicken if I press it. Like not like and sometimes in nights, I'll just Netflix a bit. And music, yes, those are the things.
That's really so far. What has been the highlights of your journey? Or what would you consider to be the highlights of your journey so far?
Highlights. They can be good and bad highlights.
Yeah. There will be other highlights by God's grace, bigger highlights.
Sure. No, like in life, the way I see life, I think about the negative parts before I think about the positive. Like I said, I don't tell myself I don't lie to myself because there will always be ups and downs. So if you think things will keep going
smooth, that's a lie.
The lie to yourself. No matter how religious you are, no matter how close to God like is part of life. So I always try to look, this thing happen. Okay, how I go think. Fine, if negative things happen to me, I also feel bad. Like I'm human, I'll get to my feelings, but the next thing is solution. Pick myself up and yeah. So the biggest highlights, in my career, right? I think it was when I landed, a grant to work on a project with a layer 1 blockchain on the Bitcoin ecosystem. To me, that's one of my biggest dreams, biggest wins so far in my career. And getting it really shows, how good I am and the kind of work that I put in, and talking with people that have crazy experience being in this. It was like every time I reflect back and I it's something that I'm always proud of myself. And the money that was involved also.
The money same day.
I will need a ginger. Yeah. And the bad highlights was getting laid off after the banking crisis happened in 2023. I won't lie to you, it was a crazy experience. I was out of job for a long time, but nobody knows about it. But if you want to know something about me, if you want to know something not going too well about me, it's easy to know. You won't see me online.
a runner.
Yeah.
A track star.
You want to, because my excuse at that time was, you will not see me online. And that was the time that my Twitter was, even up to now, my Twitter is not
still, yeah.
You don't see me online. But right now things are going good though. But it's just work that is
taking your time. I'll be thankful. So what is your advice to us here at Tech Stories?
Advice? I think you guys are doing a great job, you know. Like I said, one of the things I love doing is to share my knowledge, the little that I know, and to help other people. And, you know, platforms like this change people's life. Just imagine the things that I've said and things that other people that have come on this, you know, space have said. There's someone that is impacting. You know, and we need stuff like this. We need more people to share, you know, their story. We need more people to motivate other people out there. Like almost every day I go on Twitter and I see like people winning, like coming from nothing. Like it gives me joy, and I want everybody's story to be like that. I want everybody's story. So
the grass to grace story.
Yeah, grass to grace story. It doesn't have to be grass to grace. It can be grass to grace.
Yeah.
I'll come from a wealthy background.
Yeah, still be doing well.
Yeah, like I don't put. I'm not biased towards God, but everybody winning is the most important thing. Because for you to win, it means you put out work, regardless of your background, whether you are born with a silver spoon or
golden spoon.
As long as you are winning, it shows you're putting out work, and everybody needs to be celebrated, you know, equally. Because I mentioned equality because I'm an egalitarian. I don't know if you have heard that. So egalitarian is someone that respects everybody, regards everybody as equal. But regardless of your religion, your tribe, your ways, your faith, anything. That's the way I live my life. Like my gate man, I use sir for him. The way I call my boss sir, I'll use like that's the way I live. Like everybody takes
like
yeah, anytime now. So why you call the maker man? Yeah. And I said I wanted to share my story about travel. So before, you know, I said this whole design journey started in 2019. Before then, I was doing a lot of stuff. You know, I can remember when I finished school in 2011 and JAMB. I know most of us, you know, we battled JAMB. JAMB. So JAMB jammed me for like 2 years. Then, you know, while I was at home, then I wanted to, like, I didn't just want to sit at home and do. I learned shoemaking. Like,
so you're
shoemaker, yes. So people always want to sweet mouth it by calling it cobbler. No. Shoemakers are actually the people that make shoes. Cobblers are the people that repairs those people on the street that I was a shoemaker and I'm proud. And in the future I'm still looking at, you know, doing something. Then I was doing that. And the crazy thing is, you know, shoemaking is one of those skills that when you learn, people start to look, how much your life don't spoil.
You sure say you go blue?
No, I just say, and my popsy then was the CDA chairman. You know, son of the city, and I'm a rebellious type. That's the way I go.
Talk to me, you know,
and I always put you guys point out, okay. So I did that, you know. After 3 years with JAMB, you know, that was when I opted for National Open University to study accounting. But in 2017, I was almost done with National Open University. Then I was like, nah, I really want to go to a conventional school. Then I logged in then too, and I took JAMB. And without the help of anybody, I got sent on merit to study finance. And that also is one of the things that keep me going. That guy, anything we want to do, guy,
you go run now.
So, you know, there's a lot of like episodes like that in my life that will be like, nah, guy, nothing. If you put mine, say you go do and then after that, you know, like I said, before even the JAMB, the admission, I was social media manager, you know, for a job. You know, and again, there were a lot of crazy times then too. You know, I once worked at, you know, all these Amala joints.
Yeah.
You know those people that actually serve water, drinks.
Yeah.
I've actually worked.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think this was around 2017. Then things was because I was not actually saw myself, you know, through school, and because I don't have parents that can't be one.
You just get strong gates.
Yeah. Like, and I love it. It's like shaped me to who I am today. And you know, and before then, 2017, ventured into, because I've always loved travel, I ventured into travels and tour. The company is still very much active, and I did that for like 3 years before I now fully dive into design. A lot of stuff. So, like, well, the essence of all this that I'm saying is, don't let your current situation determine what your future will be. Like, I have one big saying, like, I always, like, whenever I'm doing something and I've put in all the work and it's not coming forth, you do another one. Watch me. Like, it's not that you'll be jumping for what you know that you've tried. It's not, you do another one. And I've done so many things in my, like, legal stuff though, and I'm grateful that I'm here, and this is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning. Part of the things where you go run for us, go like run 5 million for us. Like,
okay, maybe not say now.
Hey, sponsor don't come.
If Bitcoin don't enter 200K,
so we'll wait till that time. But really, thank you so much for being on the set with us. We're holding you to the 5 million naira.
I know, just that Bitcoin gets to $200,000.
Oh, hopefully, God help us. But really, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to have these discussions with you. This is not the first time. And I remember the last Twitter space that, the Hancock, it was also a great. So we look forward to the outputs of this, and we look forward to people being impacted, so to say. And thank you for being on this space with us. Thank you for always doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Akorede. Thank you so much.